think we just put it here. Hey, how's it going? Well, this is being recorded, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. How's it going, everybody? This is Karate 360, and we're just going to jump right into the podcast.
Here we go. You do the opening bit because I've done it last couple times.
Welcome to Karate 360, your 360 view of the karate world, as well as our chance to tell you what it's like to actually live the karate dream as professional instructors. I'm your co-host, Richard Mosdell.
And I'm your other co-host, Kalan Anglos.
Hold on to your seats, hold on to your hats. We're also live on Facebook.
Live on Facebook for the second time, but the first time here in the Karate 360 studio.
Yes, welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to the dojo.
Exactly. Unlike the last time, there was just a big curtain there. Because we're in a hotel room traveling. We travel a lot.
We do travel a lot, and we'll get into that a little bit as we get into the show. But yeah, guys, we're Karate 360. This is episode 25, and let's start the show.
Karate 360, let's start the show. You will kick high and I will sweep low from local to global. It's the thing that we love. Karate! Sanrokumaru!
Here we are again, back in studio, back from Quebec City. Bonjour, je m'appelle Kalan. Un sac, s'il vous plaît.
That's pretty good.
That's one bag, please.
One bag, please.
That's all I got when we went grocery shopping. I'll have one bag, please.
You know some fantastic people in Quebec City?
Yes, I do know some fantastic people in Quebec City.
That's right, where the Canadian National Championships were, and we were there last week. But I have to say this. Okay, some people tried really hard to live up to the stereotype, because there was one point when I was walking on the street where people had a beer and a cigarette. They're like, out of my way, I'm coming along.
Twirling their mustache.
Yeah, exactly. And then I remember going into one place to order something, and he gave me like this exotic list of things. I'm like, okay, what is it in English? And he's like, well, you know, just coffee with brown sugar.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, wow, the way you said it before was so much better.
I expected everybody that I talked to just would speak French. So everybody I went to, I just kind of tried to say as much as I can. And then they'd talk to me in like perfect English. They'd be like, do you want a coffee? And
Yeah.
like, yes, please, coffee.
That was hilarious.
Yeah. So we got back from Quebec City on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
We were there for a week for the Canadian National Championships, as everybody know. And what an experience that was.
Yep, that was huge. 42nd Canadian National Championships. And at the top of the aggregate points was British Columbia in the first time in years.
Yeah, first time in years. The biggest team that BC's ever brought, and the biggest medal count and the biggest medal take home for the BC team.
So our friends in the States, we're going to make you jealous here. There are not as many states as there are Canadian provinces.
Not even close.
Yes, and there are bigger provinces like British Columbia, Ontario, and Quebec, and then there are smaller provinces. And you get to make a provincial team and then go to the national championships. And there are just over 400 athletes. But however, our friends in the States, when they have their U.S. Open, it's pretty big. They invite a lot of people. I think you go to a regionals and then you go off to the nationals. They do it in July.
The nationals are in July?
Nationals are normally the first week of July. There's actually two of them. One is near the end of June with the AAU Karate Championships, and then the USA NKF. Well, now they call it USA Karate. They have theirs at the beginning of July.
Great. No, that's really good.
So we should go.
We should go. Absolutely, we should go. And we're obviously going to have the Canada Open here in Canada, in Richmond.
How dare you make me come to Vancouver for another time?
We've been there 4 times.
We've been there 4 times in Vancouver for the national championships in a row, and now you're making me come again.
For anybody that's just tuning in or missed the podcast last week, that was the response that we got from some of the Quebec people that were just absolutely appalled that they would have to come back to BC for a tournament.
Exactly, and that was a nicer reply.
That was the nice version.
That was
the
nice
nice
version.
Yeah. If we even got a reply, really.
Yeah. The Canada Open is happening. I know some of you are like waiting. I got to register already now. I must register right now, and I'm getting those messages. But the technical crew who's working on the back end is trying to put a few extra bells and whistles to the Canada Open online registration form.
Okay. Like what?
Well, we're sort of hoping that
Mm-hmm.
if once your name and your athletes are in the system, then any other tournaments that come up, you don't have to re-enter their names.
Okay, I see. So it's just like a database.
Yeah, like a database.
Right.
There
I
you
think
go.
that's great.
English. Thank
English
you very much.
database.
Arigato. Arigato. Sumimasen.
Arigato.
My English is only so good. It's funny in the office and you're going to see this more often, where I get stuck between English and Japanese, because like, okay, I forgot the word for English and maybe I never learned it for Japanese. Now I'm really stuck.
Yeah.
So like a database drop down, and a really seamless way of entering. Also, with the club instructor can enter everybody, and then you put in the parents' email addresses for the kids, and it sends them the medical waiver.
Okay.
Then the parent gets a link to go into the site, fill in the medical waiver, and then the registration goes live.
So just making it easier, basically.
Easier, smoother, lighter, faster.
Love that.
Yes.
Good.
So yeah, Canada Open will have a lot more details, and you can go to the karatebc.org webpage. You can also find it Canada Open Facebook page.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
what details are on there.
Yeah.
So we got to do some wrap up for nationals. Why don't you give us the highlights, because we didn't get a chance to talk about the last day.
No, we were there. Our last podcast that we did, we were in day 2 of the Canadian National Championship. So go back to episode 24. We talked a little bit about that. We talked about what our favorite fight was of the day, who our favorite fighter was, blah, blah, blah. But we didn't really get a chance to look into what the actual results were and what the key highlights were. So a lot of things came up at the Canadian National Championships. One thing, so for the past several years, as we know in the kata divisions, the men's kata divisions, the senior kata, it's been BC who has dominated the podium. I think we've
Crushed it.
I think we've swept the podium at least 3 years in a row, maybe even more. At the top of that heap has always been Toshi Uchiagi, the most decorated Canadian athlete of all time, winning the national championships in kata. But this year, he was dethroned, finally.
Wow. Big moment.
Big moment for the one and only Kenneth Lee. And Kenneth Lee won his first national championships as a kata athlete this year.
14 years running. 14 years chasing.
14 years chasing Toshi Uchiagi and finally dethroning him. And he's now the national championship. Not only that, but he also was crowned the Athlete of the Year.
Holy smokes.
For Karate Canada. He had a top 10 finish at the Worlds, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, he did it. He got 9th place in the Worlds and, won the national championships and is the Athlete of the Year. So congratulations to Kenneth Lee, who we both know and we're both big fans of. So shout out to Kenneth Lee for sure.
And by the way, Toshi's amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And that was one of the things, Kenneth is one of the most humble people I know. As soon as he won, he said, I have Toshi to thank for this. Like somebody to keep pushing me and, keep making me work hard to be able to get here. So absolutely. Toshi is amazing. And, like I said, the most decorated Canadian athlete of all time. And,
And he wrote on his Facebook page later that, did he say that silver to him almost meant more than all his golds because they reinvigorated him.
Sure.
I mean, kata is so hard. I mean, you could be at a different angle. You could be farther away from the ring, and you might have gone with a different decision.
Yeah.
Right? That was just a moment that was just a 2-minute moment in time. But both those guys they're just so dedicated at what they're doing, which was great. And two very different katas.
Yes, yeah.
Toshi's was very physical and strong. And Kenneth was strong, but a little more technically. They did really different kata, where Toshi did Super Nempe and Kenneth did Chatanyari Kushenku.
This was in the finals.
In the finals.
Yeah.
And for me, Kenneth was more like technically on point,
sure,
but not as physical. And Toshi was more physical, but still on point.
Yeah.
So there's a slightly different type of performance. It's also a different kata, really. It's an 800-meter race against a 1,200-meter race.
Sure.
So in that way, it's also not as it's very speculative at the moment.
Sure.
But that's the way it is.
Yep, that's the way it is in kata. But a new Canadian national championship in men's kata. So congratulations to Kenneth and all BC. As well in the women's kata division, we took 3 of the 4 medals as well in women's kata.
Wow.
No, pardon me.
I think we took all the gold medals for kata at nationals.
We did. Yes, we did. All the gold medals.
We're talking about a sweep.
I was talking about a sweep. So we got a sweep of the podium in men's kata. In females, we almost got a sweep in kata as well, with Rita winning gold in that as well for the women. So that was great. On the kumite side of things.
And by the way, they're both from Hashimoto Kaz Sensei's dojo
That's right.
with Mark Stacy.
Yeah.
Odokan in East Vancouver,
That's right.
right? Means the King's Dojo, Odokan.
There you go.
Yes, so they both came from there.
Yeah, so congratulations to them. On the kumite side of things, Saturday, Sunday was the big kumite days. Lots of big things happening. One of the more known names in Canada, Katie Campbell out of New Brunswick, who won a 3rd place at the Paris Open this past January, and also I believe got top 10 finish at the Worlds as well, and is probably one of, we've talked about it before on this podcast, probably one of Canada's best chances to make it to the Olympics.
Yes.
She won gold. She won double gold. She won in her weight category, the minus, I believe, 56 kilogram division, minus 55, and then she also won in the open weight division as well.
Wow.
So a double gold for Katie Campbell.
Little Callie's superhero.
Oh, yeah?
Callie in their karate club.
Yeah.
Callie, I think, is 8. She loves Katie Campbell.
Yeah. I think most people do. I mean, she's just very humble and a very good athlete, of course. So great job for Katie Campbell. She won Female Athlete of the Year, so congratulations for her on that. On the men's side of things, it was, the province of Quebec has always been pretty strong in their kumite, and they took home the most medals in kumite, more than any other province in kumite.
Yes.
And leading the charge on that was Patrice. I want to get his name right here. Patrice Bolley-Martineau from Quebec. He won as well gold in his weight category, minus 75, as well as the open division as well. He was also part of the Quebec Team Kumite, who won bronze. So Patrice leading the charge there. And then, in the minus 84 kilogram division, it was Ontario's Sarman Sanani, who did not compete last year, was a national team member, didn't compete last year, so came in unranked and won gold again. So
fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. It was good for Sarman. And
actually, Justine Vert came back this year after
That's
surgery.
Right. Justine Vert came back.
She got a gold medal in women's minus 50.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Jocelyn Verk from British Columbia, that was a big win for her as well. I know she's worked hard for that, and congratulations to Jocelyn. So I mean, in total, like we said, for the provinces, British Columbia finished atop the point standings with 24 gold medals, but the overall count, Quebec got more. So British Columbia had 24 golds, 13 silvers, and 21 bronzes.
Is that after all the bronzes have now been added in?
Is that, you mean for like the...
They were like missing 30 bronze medals from the total count when we left Quebec.
Well, that I don't know. That I am not sure about.
They still hadn't added it in as of Sunday night. They were going to add it in sometimes this
No,
week.
I think it did. I think that includes all the ones that were added in, because it had all the Team Kumite stuff in there as well, which is the last event. So I think that does include it. Quebec actually got the most medals, though. They got 22 golds, 31 silvers, and 18 bronzes. And then Ontario finished out the top 3 with 17 gold, 10 silver, and 15 bronze. So that was our top 3 provinces in Canada. And yeah, I mean, we were both there, and it was a great experience for sure.
I was just checking your hoodie to see. It says Canadian National Champions. Was it last year?
And this is an older one. This is the last year I competed, I think, 2014. So there you go. Last year I competed.
Well, that was, for a lot of people, stage 1 of a potential run towards the Olympics 2020.
Yes.
So I'm assuming that with the U.S. National Championships coming up in July, they're going to have their stage 1 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to see. First, that room was packed.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people in there.
We had the blackout on Saturday, right?
The blackout was on Saturday. The infamous blackout.
We talked
Yeah.
about that last week.
We did. Yeah.
Blackout was on Saturday. Sunday was more. It was just a long day on Sunday to get everything done. By the time everyone had the medals, they had about a 15-minute break. They had to run off to the banquet.
Yeah.
I like these big karate banquets. I'm not used to them. Like I'm used to them now, but I wasn't used to them before because I was so isolated in the karate world for a long time before I broke out and found where the centers of it was. It was neat because you get a sense of seeing people you might only see once a year.
Yes, yeah.
Catch up with where they're at with things. After
a big tournament, so everybody's just kind of more relaxed and everybody's just kind of loosey-goosey type thing.
Yeah, and that's, when the tournament's happening, you're more focused on where things are at.
For sure, yeah.
I think even if you're in the recreational side, you should watch these events because the speed and the athleticism and the fitness, and you can, even just watching 1 or 2 matches, you can get so many little ideas of how to train. Like
Yeah.
I like looking at a match and rewinding it 3 or 4 seconds in my mind or on the tape and go, okay, that's what they did to set up that technique.
For sure. I like to look at, when I was competing, I like to look at athletes that were in the same division as me, see how they fight, maybe at the world level, see.
No, you just go, I can take him.
Yeah, and just go, yeah, that's nothing.
That's nothing.
That's
mine.
nothing. Yeah.
Fresh meat.
I'm coming for you. And just kind of maybe emulate some of their movements.
Oh,
and
for
stuff.
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you could see some of the guys doing the idea of like look in the corner.
Oh, totally.
You know,
Yes.
like, okay.
Yeah.
A little too much.
A little too much, yeah. You're trying to sell the point. And one thing, too, that was new for me and for a lot of these athletes was the senshu rule.
Senshu?
Yeah, that came up. And for me, it was the first, big tournament that senshu has been in place. So for those of you that are listening that are unaware what the senshu rule is, basically it's just whoever, in a kumite match, whoever scores the first unopposed point, if the score is tied at the end of the match, whoever has senshu, who scored the first unopposed point, wins the match instead of going to overtime or whatever. So that was a game changer, I thought, for the athletes as well as the coaches as well, some tactics and that kind of stuff. So it was really good to see, really interesting to see a lot of the athletes really hungry for that first point. And I know that's something that we, as a BC team coach, something that we told our athletes, like we want to be the ones that get that senshu, get that first point. We don't want to be in the position where we have to come back and get that extra point. So yeah, it was really interesting to see how that affected the kumite match and how much it's changed.
Yeah, who bounced off the line specifically to score a point.
Yeah. Who was a point getter?
That's right.
Yeah.
And it was, what I thought was interesting is someone would bounce off the line within the first 15, 20 seconds, would get the point, and then completely change their fight.
Yeah.
And go into defensive, and then they would end up losing, I think, especially at this level, because there's still a big gap to the continental and the world level. That if you can score with something, you just keep scoring with it.
Yes, yeah. That was something we were talking about when we were watching some of the athletes. Someone would go and score a nice chudan mawashi giri to the body, and then that's it. They wouldn't throw that technique again, and that entire thing. So why would you not be throwing that technique again? It was so nice. You scored it pretty easily.
Yes.
Go do it again.
Just keep trying to set it up until you can grab it.
Yeah.
And, some of the better fighters, they would just keep counterpunching people in the face when they ran in.
Yeah.
They would just keep sweeping and kicking up.
Yeah.
They would, if someone was taller, they would dip slightly under the taller person's attack and pick off their body. Do you have a favorite fight now that we had 3 days? Because I kind of have one favorite fight that I like.
Well, last time we talked about it on the last podcast, my favorite fight was the Brendan Lee fight to finish off Saturday, just because I knew he worked hard for it to get that silver medal, and it was just kind of everybody watching. If we're looking outside of Team Kumite, because I think there's a lot of really good fights in Team Kumite, my favorite fight was probably actually Sarman Sanani from Ontario against Philippe from Quebec. So we call them the Twin Towers, just two really tall guys, really long, lanky, can pick you off, as far, right across the ring, basically 2 steps and they're on Jogai. Their fight in the -84 division was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Because, these are guys that finish first, second, usually every single year in that division. And it was Sarman's first year back. And, they're just throwing all kinds of great techniques. And, of course, I think Sarman won 3-1 or something like that. He didn't win by very much, but he was able to kind of neutralize Philippe and really use his length to win. And everybody was like, oh, man, Sarman's back type thing. So that was really cool.
That was your favorite?
Yeah. I mean, it was tough for me because I was coaching, too. So I was in the chair a lot and moving around a lot. Yes. So I didn't really get a chance to watch athletes that weren't our own. So it'd be too easy to say, one of our athletes is my favorite fighter. But I think that one was probably one of my favorites as well.
That's really interesting because the next fight after that's my favorite, where Philippe had to fight Warren.
Yes. Yeah, totally.
That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Because when I went up to ask Warren, shout out to Warren. Hey, Warren, how you doing? What's your plan? He's like, you still working on it? I'm like, remember, this guy is frustrated. He's a fantastic athlete. Philippe, you're a fantastic athlete.
Yeah.
But he was frustrated, and he had to use the standard thing of don't fight him till the very end of the match.
Yes.
Make him make mistakes, get frustrated. And it actually worked. Like, it went to Warren putting a lot of pressure on him, but not fighting, moving around, not fighting. and then Philippe getting category 2. 1, 2, 3. He was at 3, and in the last like 3-4 seconds, he tried to do a takedown, and then he was gripping with his super long legs, gripping onto Warren. He got the 4th category 2 penalty, so he got Hansoku. He was disqualified.
Yeah.
It worked. I remember Warren looking at me like, I don't think he actually believed it. I don't know if he still believes it. And of course, you want to win 8-0. You're like, wow, you want to win 8-0. The whole crowd goes, yes. The other guy walks over and goes, that was unbelievable. Thank you very much. You know, of course, everyone wants to win like that. But you win within the rules.
Yeah, totally.
And it's a mental game.
Absolutely.
It's an absolute mental game.
Yeah.
So that was actually my favorite. Now, do you want to pat myself on the back for doing it? No, the effort's all on Warren.
Yeah.
He had to get out there and actually fight him and figure it out, right?
Execute the game plan.
Execute the game plan.
Yeah.
But he had the mental fortitude to take it to the end. I said it's going to feel really uncomfortable. You know, we had to do that with Steve too. Was when because he was up against him. You know, you're going to feel unbelievably uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Until you get, and then Steve fought him on Sunday in the Open, and it was neat because Steve's match was like, he was definitely not letting him attack, Philippe attack. But then one time he stood right in the, I don't know if you remember, he stood right in the middle of the match and he just stopped and didn't move.
Yes.
A couple points in him.
Yes.
And he just yelled at him like,
don't stand there.
He's not feeling very uncomfortable if you're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I got to keep moving again.
Yes. Yeah. And that's the one that, you stand still, he'll just pick you off.
Yeah. Well, and he was just running the clock.
Yeah.
Right? So, no. That was pretty cool. Yeah, and then I think the other thing about nationals is just get to have all those little side conversations with people. And
totally, just meet. Especially now, I guess my first year as a coach, getting to meet all the coaches from the other provinces. You know, of course, I know who they are, but they may not know who I am.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting to actually meet with them. We got to sit in the high performance meeting, which was really great. Even people that I've worked with.
What do you mean just sit in the high performance meeting?
Well,
oh, come on. Here, he's trying hard to be modest.
We were in there.
We were in there. And someone's name came up 4 times. Yes.
I think it was 5.
Hey, you worked hard for it.
Yeah.
Kalan's, under my very strict whipping. I'm just kidding. He worked hard for it to get the fitness test done. Yeah, you did it. You did it with University of Victoria's kinesiology department, where you're just graduating out of, and you figured out how to actually make a karate test that matched karate athletes.
Yes.
And then Karate Canada adopted it.
Yep.
It was interesting because last year the government in our province said, you need a fitness test now.
And that's when you called me. I remember.
And I'm like, I need you right now. Get on the ferry.
Yeah, that's what it was. You said, you need to get on the ferry right now. And I was like, okay.
And this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
And then when Karate Canada was like, okay, yeah, I'm kind of interested in that, then it's paid off all the way through.
Yeah, it's funny, when I went there the first time when you called me and said, you have to come over, we met with Peter Davis, the high performance consultant. He was great. He said, yep, go ahead, this is yours. And then I met Olivier too, the high performance director for Karate Canada. Shook his hand.
Olivier is the executive director.
Executive director, pardon me. Shook his hand, said, nice to meet you. He said, yep, good luck. Like, this is all your type thing. Yep. And then when we went back this year, and he came up to me, he goes, you must be the infamous Kalan. Nice to meet you. And I didn't want to say, well, we already met before, but that's okay. So you won't forget me this time.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's really, it was really good. And, getting to meet some people that in that meeting that have helped work, like Gabriel Sila from Quebec. He's been helpful for sure in all this fitness testing. So finally being able to meet him, talk to him about it. We had some meetings with Peter Davis as well on that. So just getting that chance to be around all those high performance people and talk about the fitness test. And
that's right. And let's see where it goes.
Yeah, see where it goes. And we got to meet with the coaches from Team Canada as well, go over it. We're going to make a couple modifications because now in March, surprise anybody who's on the national team, you'll be doing those tests again.
Dun, dun, dun.
at the senior national
So if you're from
camp.
British Columbia, you're used to it.
That's right. It's just standard now, yeah. Yeah, but you'll be doing it at the Senior National Training Camp in March in Toronto. So
that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, very proud of you. You worked hard on it.
Oh, well, I appreciate it.
You might get a master's degree out of it too, right?
Yeah, I sure as heck hope so. This past week has been crazy. I'm trying to get my thesis done and wrapped up. So I've had people ask, like, how are we going to be able to read all your thesis and all this stuff on the fitness test? So absolutely, it's coming. As soon as it's done and it gets approved and it goes through all the academic hoops that it has to jump through, you can take a look at it and you can go
Its
through
own fitness test.
its own fitness test. Yeah. The fitness test, and not only the fitness test, but how we put it together. We literally, I mean, we did it here. We put heart rate monitors on people. We tried to find, we did a task analysis. We really looked at what do you need to do karate? What energy systems, what muscles, what performance attributes.
I mean, any type of karate, not just
any type of
performance.
karate.
Like, any type of person.
Yeah, well, we did it on our athletes here that are on the team, but we also did it on just our recreational athletes here, too.
We're doing it tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right. We are doing
Holy cow, this thing has legs.
That's right. We are doing some fitness.
See you guys tomorrow. See, it's already set up out there, actually. If you see
I don't know if they can see it, but yeah, it is set up out there. So we are doing some more fitness tests. But yeah, we didn't just throw some tests together. We did all this analysis on what makes a karate athlete tick and match that to the fitness tests and rationalize it. So yes, you can read the thesis. I'll let everybody know.
Good segue.
What are we segueing
K-Fit.
to? K-Fit.
Yeah, so let's leave. Let's hear about it.
Are you K-Fit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so, it's coming. April 1st, I think, is when we're going to launch K-Fit Conditioning, the K-Fit program, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be basically all the fitness testing stuff, the conditioning programs that I put together. I do online training with a lot of athletes as well. That'll be coming soon, and you can absolutely get on board. And basically what I want to do, I've gone to school for quite a long time, and I've learned quite a bit, but I'm an open book, and I really like teaching people about conditioning and how to do things
You want
properly.
to be a practitioner.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what the K-Fit thing is. I want to show you how to do things properly. I want to help you. I want to help you learn. I want to help you grow as an athlete, as an individual, whatever. So K-Fit is just going to be me giving you all this information that I have and helping you get better at whatever you need to get better.
No, I think it's really smart where someone can come in and go, I want to improve my performance. I want to get over an injury. I want to prevent injuries.
Yes, yeah.
I'm a judo athlete. I'm a karate athlete. I'm a mom of a karate athlete. I'm 52 years old, training for my first degree black belt.
Yes.
My 8th degree black belt or something. I'm not 52 by the way. And,
not yet. Not quite.
Not quite. And you can say, okay, I'm going to take you through the system that I've got. And so I think it's actually really smart that instead of just going for more education, which is always good, is that you go out there and you prove it by being in the field and actually doing stuff.
Yes, yeah.
It's like you could go to a business school and go really in debt on about business, and it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
why not just go out and do business?
Yeah. It's like, I can recite a whole textbook, but, I can't apply any of it.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I think we've been talking about this recently, the greatest coaches that I can think of have all this, they may have academic knowledge. They might have an amazing amount of experience. And experience comes through trial and error. They have that personal bedside manner that they can work with someone. And they know when to give them the little bit of white chocolate or dark chocolate.
Yes. There's no chocolate in the K-Fit conditioning. Just
yes,
so you know.
yes. Just keto?
Just keto. Don't get me started.
But that tactile moment of help.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the thing with people coming to you for conditioning training and performance training is that now they can be accountable to somebody else.
For sure.
And that you can give them a program. So I think this is a really, really good idea. And we can do it through the club. You can do it outside the club. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Well, that's good. You guys keep an eye on it too. So yeah, K-Fit is coming soon. There's going to be very shortly a K-Fit Facebook page that you can join.
Dun, dun.
We'll talk a little bit about it on here. I don't want to get into too much detail on here because this is Karate 360.
It's all about karate.
It's all about karate around here. So yeah.
Well, we should be talking about you got a new job.
I did. Yes, I did. I got a new job. Although I think we've already announced it on here, but that's okay. I've officially started the new job.
You've officially started. He was going to get his Kenzan gear today, but it's late.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I was supposed to get my new Kenzan gear today.
I was thinking today too. I was like, I'm not even going to wear a hoodie because the hoodie's coming. It's all
good.
good.
Exactly.
You're like, sorry, we don't have your stuff.
Yes. Well, all the instructors didn't get their stuff.
Yeah.
So.
And it's something that we've already talked about. But for me, it's the first time that I've taught all different kinds of karate classes. Of course, I've taught karate classes before, but in an 8-hour day. I have never once before coming here taught, minis at 4 years old and then 6 to 8 years old, and one mini. That was a little off for me. Just teaching one mini athlete 45 minutes. I don't know what to do here, and then going right up to the high performance classes and the advanced classes. So it's been learning already. So that's what we talked about. First week, but it's been great.
I remember listening to these old time NHL ice hockey coaches, where I don't watch ice hockey. I am Canadian, but I don't watch it.
We determined that last week.
Yes.
You didn't even know some of the lingo. That's okay.
I have no idea. But I remember them saying that the most important thing is to be able to teach at all levels.
It makes sense.
And to make yourself as best as possible, and then to be with the youngest person possible to teach them, so that you can give them what you think the best foundation, especially if they're going to be your student when they're older. You don't want to reteach them a foundation. You want to give them the foundation that you're hoping they have when they get older.
Yes.
So I actually love the variety in my day. There was a time when I taught 25 schools during my day, and it was always an age group of like 15 to 18-year-olds, and it was always intro karate. And so
same thing.
Yeah, same thing. And so I took like a Zen approach, like, all right, I'm going to have a 5% better delivery every month. And there was like a stage of 4 to 6 classes. So when I got to each class, I'm like, all right, for this class, let's see if I can just tweak it, because they need a little bit more intensity, or a little more technique, or a little more jokes, or a little less jokes. So I enjoyed that. But what I missed, and then I would go teach my club at night, but what I missed was, wow, if I could do a variety of things in the day, I think, when you think about the future and the opportunities that we have, it's cool when you can teach a little kid and like, oh, I'm going to give them one little extra high performance technique, and then they get older. Even like my son James, it's just neat that he just jumped in there with the high performance class tonight.
Totally, yeah.
And he was just having a gas.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny when we were doing the kumite stuff. James is about 7. 7. We were doing the kumite stuff. He was, by far the youngest. Just doing some free sparring. He comes up to me and goes, Kalan sensei. Jesse goes, can we do takedowns? I said, sure, James, go ahead. If you can take down Big Steve,
that's awesome.
Give it a try. He's like, yes. Awesome. He ran back and he did it.
That's great.
Yeah, it's great. One thing I want to say to all our Facebook Live listeners right now. So again, this is our second Facebook Live we've done. Send us some questions, because later on in the podcast, we are going to answer any questions that come our way. So send us some questions, whatever you have for us. We will answer them. We'll give you a shout out, and we'll go from there. So thank you so much for listening.
Is anybody watching?
Oh yeah, we got some eyes. We got some eyes. I have a question for you though, Richard.
Okay.
Since we were just talking about being club coaches and teaching kids at the recreational level all the way up, what do you think makes a difference between a club coach, somebody who just does recreational karate coaching, and a high performance coach, so coaches that go to the nationals or whatever international tournaments? What is the difference between them, basically? What makes them different?
In my world, it's being self-aware.
Okay.
That you are a club coach.
Sure.
And that you have a repertoire that you can take people to. And that if you have an athlete that's popping, you have a karate member, a karateka, right? Yeah. Who is popping, that you recognize that either you have to raise your game and your knowledge as a karate instructor, or you have to hand them off to somebody else.
Yes. Yeah. That's something we've talked about, yeah.
There are people that I know that learn karate up to a certain level and then just do the same thing. I mean, a lot of times I'm going to pick on the Shotokan world because they're not here. And hello, you Shotokan friends. I mean, and they pick on each other in the 3Ks. Like it's Kion, it's Kata, it's Kumite. And someone will learn a curriculum and get into a black belt, and they'll just do that their whole life. But is that exactly what their kids need? Is that exactly what the people walking in the dojo need? And how can you deliver that better? So recreation karate instructor who just is really not changing or evolving over time. Where a high performance coach, one thing is hoping that they're trying to evolve. Now, at the same time, I think a recreational instructor should always trying to evolve.
Sure.
Yeah. Like I'm always pushing the knowledge that I have, or if I've learned something, I'm always practicing it. You know,
And it's not to say that, recreational club coaches can't be high performance coaches.
no, that's an evolution.
Absolutely. And,
Yeah.
and most high performance coaches are club coaches at some level.
Yeah, exactly. And let's really think about brass tacks. If you don't have a big recreation program, you'll never have a good high performance program.
Sure.
Because high performance is a hobby,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
It's a hobby. And what is a good high performance club? You're either a big recreation club with a good high performance sensei who can teach you guys in that area. And if you're really a traditionalist in one of the 4 big, or even the 3 or 2 big Japanese systems, you can be really, really a traditionalist in kata, right? In kumite, you have to have a little bit more of a modern approach. But you would have to be a private club with a big rec side, or be in karate senseis who don't take a salary,
Right. Yeah.
right? And then you have a high performance karate stream. Like we've just started in this club. We've got a sports karate stream now, which I think is really unique, In our first class, we got somebody new.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, holy cow.
Our very first sports karate class, we got a new. Well, he's not new to karate, but he's new to us.
New, he doesn't need the traditional belt side. He just wants to do it.
Yeah.
I think the other thing for a high performance club would be like the wrestling model or the Japan model, where everyone is developed in a high school and then they develop at specific universities because they're inside an institution, because only an institution can afford high performance, but I like having in our club, I like having the variety. Like your day some of it can be monotonous, but the way you deliver it, and if it's 1 kid or it's 100 kids, you can have a real wide variety, and you can have fun tweaking it. So, that's my long answer.
No, and it makes sense.
And I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It absolutely makes sense, because, you need to be able, and that we've already really talked about, is you need to be able to take an athlete as far as you could take them, and then, but recognize that, okay, now they're ready for the next step, and now that they can go to do the next thing.
And I think, and when we say rec, it means, classical, traditional, that sort of, to keep challenging your learning knowledge. Well, you're right. I think we talked about this tonight too, is there's a very high level skill, and there's a really big gap, and then there's another level of technical skill. And so when you go to Japan, that gap is huge. Like in martial arts, what you're trying to do is actually control the alignment of your skeleton, and then use you study this, right? You control your line of your skeleton, and then use your energy systems and muscles and stuff to get things done. But if the alignment of the skeleton is out, the technique is wrong. They talk about this a lot in Kyudo.
Sure.
And so there's a really old world way of looking at something that's really, really practical. And so they'll be tweaking something like, oh, if I drop this shoulder, if I tighten my lat on this side, it pulls my shoulder down, which helps me tweak forward. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Now I just performed it slightly better, slightly faster.
Totally, yeah.
And
that's something that I've gotten just from being here too, is, I used to always train with really shrugged shoulders, and I was always really tense, and I remember...
It's those huge traps.
Traps, yeah, very good, traps, and deltoids. I used to remember my sensei, Sato sensei, used to always say, loosen the shoulders, you have to loosen up. And I'd be like, I'm trying, sensei. Like, I feel like I am, but I'm just so tight. But then, when came here and kind of thought about it, and you always say, you relax your shoulders, let your lats pull your shoulders down. And I did it, and now it's really like, and then I kind of put that in with my own knowledge. I haven't said it
for a while now.
You haven't said it for a while. I guess I can figure it out. And then with my own kind of knowledge of posture training, where you just kind of pull your scapula down and back, and then that activates your lats. I've been trying to do that, and I thought, my punches are much more crisp when doing the traditional walking basics and that kind of thing. So, it totally makes sense.
It's one of the nice things about Wado is really, really simple, and you can transition to other styles. So, but then I try and train at a really basic Wado level that's influenced by the JKF, the higher level awareness of delivering your karate.
Right.
And again, you're going to see that when we travel.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Good.
Yeah, it'll make a lot of sense. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing some people jump in, and also you grabbing some judo, kendo, taekwondo, MMA, getting them training on the floor. That'll be fun.
Totally, yeah, and it's something that we've talked about too. You know, boxing. I've trained some boxing athletes as well, some judo athletes and that kind of stuff. It'll be fun to get them all together and just kind of working them all through the K-Fit program.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it'll be good. All right, so we have a question that came in from one of our listeners. Here, I actually got a text message in it, and
bring it on.
Okay, I'm going to ask you: can a competing athlete have success with no traditional karate background?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What are we competing in? Well, you're going to have to be kumite.
Yes.
Right. If you're going to be doing traditional karate, well, you could do. I mean, if you're just going to pick a kata, take the best video performance you can find that you like, and then you're going to videotape yourself, and you're going to teach yourself to get as close to that performance as possible.
Sure.
It'll be tough because you won't know the trigger. You don't know the triggers in the body to get the body to move in certain ways. So it'll be tough to do, but it's possible. I know of people who have looked at like team kata. I know they've looked at a kata, and as a group of 3, basically trained themselves just by looking at the video and videotaping themselves to get as close as possible, and went as far as a continental championship. So it is technically possible.
Now,
but basically, it's a kumite thing.
It's a kumite thing, because kata I think would be very tough, and kumite as well. I mean, you don't necessarily have to have a traditional, but if you think about it, you see a lot of kumite. No, I shouldn't say a lot, but you do see a few kumite only clubs that just do kumite. To my knowledge, you don't see a whole lot of kata only clubs. Usually,
usually they have a balance.
Yeah, usually there's a balance, or it's traditional that then you only do kata. After.
I mean, there are athletes that eventually they might do kumite in the dojo, but they only perform with kata.
Yes. Did you see that just totally triggered off here at the national championship for the Team BC? Toshi geared up as one of.
He can fight.
Absolutely, he can. He won the Steveston. I think
tournament. He's won some provincials too.
Yeah, actually, maybe it was provincials. I can't remember. Yeah, it's funny because people are saying, "Oh, Toshi, he's our kata athlete. You know, what's he doing?" And I said, "No, Toshi can fight, man.
Hit therapy.
Yeah,
therapy after the silver.
Yeah. He was all fired up. No, that was funny. But yeah, as we know, some of the best athletes, on the BC team come from dojos that only train high performance.
Well, even Toki Hill, was a coach. He's famous in the United States and around for. I remember him telling me once that the way you could train for kumite, you have to totally not think about kata and some of the traditional ways that they train. Just so you have the speed and the relaxation.
Yeah, the movements are all different. Yeah, as you'll find out from my thesis, the energy systems are different.
Coming to stores near you one day. The word that I got from 2 weeks ago from the coaching course we took that I've been using is critical instant. Critical instant. Okay. Yes. What did you learn about critical instant in school?
I don't think I've learned anything about critical instant.
Okay.
We've used critical instant in a biomechanical analysis, the critical instant being like the impact of a punch or of a kick. It's just kind of one phase of a biomechanical analysis of a movement. So that's pretty much the only thing that I've learned.
Because I think it helps when we're talking about scoring or doing things in karate, like what is the critical instant moment? Like I think about breaking a board.
Yes.
If you don't have a good idea about when to apply the body and everything at that moment, it ain't working.
Yes.
You're going to push through it, or you're not going to snap soon enough, or your speed's not going to be right. You need to have everything come together at the right moment.
Yes.
Same thing in kumite to actually score a technique.
Totally. Something that I did in my undergrad in a biomechanics class was we had to take a single movement in any sport, and we had to have a professional, so to speak, practitioner or participant, and then somebody who's a novice participant or a beginner participant, and they had to do the movement, and we had to do a video analysis of the movement and determine what the critical instant was and what all the other phases of the biomechanical. So I did a spinning back kick.
Cool.
Yeah. And I was considered this professional, quote unquote. And then I had another friend of mine who trained mixed martial arts, who was kind of my novice. And then I had somebody who trained nothing, and they were beginner. So we video cameraed them at all different angles and all different planes of motion. And then we put it in the Dartfish software, and we kind of looked at everything and what was the critical instant. But yeah, we totally looked at, okay, when you impact, this is where your leg should be. This is how you get as much torque to turn yourself around. So it's totally cool. And that's something I think we should do more of, maybe.
all the time.
All the time.
I love spinning roundhouse back kicks.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. But one of the problems is they're a nice rib breaker.
Yes.
So you have to be very careful about practicing them.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember.
Good on the kicking stance.
Good on the kicking stance. I took a Ron Bagley spinning back kick to the ribs when I was maybe 12 years old.
Yes, he was good for making kicks sting the body.
Yes. And we were doing a demonstration.
Okay.
And for anybody that knows Ron Bagley, I mean, you might know more about Ron Bagley than
I
I
know
do.
Ron very well.
Yeah. And I know he was a competing athlete at a very high level. He was a great coach.
Yeah, he was from the Tiki Donovan School.
Yes, that's right.
From London. Tiki Donovan is very famous for developing a modern way of teaching kumite and led the United Kingdom many world championships.
Yeah. So he was here and he was doing a little demonstration, and I was his kind of partner or his opponent or whatever. And yeah, I was 12 years old. I knew who he was. I absolutely admired him. Oh, Ron Bagley was the best. I was so excited to be at this seminar. He did a spinning back kick on me, hit me right in the guts, and absolutely knocked. Like, I wanted to cry, but I just wanted to look so tough. I was like, okay, don't cry, like, just hold this together. So I just kept breathing. But inside I was like, I think he might have broke one of my ribs.
Oh, wow.
Like, he didn't, of course, but it was pretty funny.
Ron was neat because he came to BC, and that's when you had to go to a BC team training and actually learn sport technique and then go back and try and train it.
Sure.
He used to have a Vancouver Kumite club that would meet every Saturday at like 1 o'clock. It was like 10 minutes from my place.
Okay.
So we would go and we would train, and he moved the locations like 3 or 4 times, and we just followed him around. And it was neat because he would bring in Tiki Donovan. Yeah, Tiki Donovan was a character. I remember him showing us this technique where if someone punched, you could grab their shoulder, dislocate it as you threw them down. And I remember going, so this is self-defense? And then he looked at me like, everything is karate.
Yeah. Like, no, this is kumite.
We were doing like sparring for kumite, but he showed how to just take one little kumite technique and turn it into a self-defense move.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, everything in kumite can actually be for self-defense. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then I remember asking them, when you won the world championships in like 1988 with the UK team, what did you guys eat? Because I was like, learning about fitness and health. Like, what did you guys eat? Like, what do you mean, what did we eat? Went to McDonald's, we just pounded the burgers back, and we felt awesome, and then we went in there and blew them away.
Yes.
I was like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
At the national championships this past weekend, it was funny to see the diet of some of the athletes,
Yes.
Watching them see what they take in during, and then also there was the weight cut. The weight cut was really difficult for some of our athletes. I don't know how it was for other provinces, but a lot of athletes struggled, and it was close. Luckily, Quebec doesn't know how to have calibrated scales that work properly, because I think it was so off that they just decided to give the athletes a kilogram leeway, one way or another. So that worked out all right.
Yeah, people were struggling more than maybe they should have.
Yeah, but even during the competition, like competing athletes, not necessarily McDonald's, because there wasn't McDonald's there, but maybe not eating something they should have.
The other thing is you're supposed to get up 4 hours before you compete.
Yeah.
Then you're supposed to eat properly, because then you're at your best, like your body's fully awake 4 hours later, right? Yeah. So, live and learn.
Live and learn. That's
live
right.
And learn. If you're wondering why your thing didn't quite make it, so.
Yeah. Win or learn, as John Kavanagh would say.
I love that one.
Which is a book. And speaking of books, we have here Sunny Leeds. So for anybody who's on Facebook Live right now and you haven't seen the cover, I'm sure you've heard of Sunny Leeds. Sunny Leeds is the book written by this gentleman that's sitting right across from me.
That building on the cover is the Nippon Budokan Camp, where they're going to have the 2020 Tokyo Olympics for karate at Tokyo 2020 Olympics. We'll be there.
Yes. Yeah, so there you go. You can get your copy of Sunny Leeds. And, it's funny, you gave one to one of the coaches, Matt Bickle. Yeah. He was my roommate. And literally...
Hey, Matt, how's it going?
Yeah, I know he listens. So, Matt, it was a pleasure. Yeah, you handed it to you gave it to him, you signed it for him, and then he went back, and kind of went to the room or whatever.
Well, I gave him my daughter's book.
That's right. Oh, yeah. That's so funny. You signed it. So Richard signs this book for him. Oh, Matt, good luck. Keep kicking high or whatever. Signed Richard Mosdell. Here you go, Matt. You can have this book. And I go, oh, thank you. And Matt's looking through the book, and he goes, did you maybe write this for your daughter? Because on the page before it says, hi, Emma. This is for you, dedicated. I hope you keep doing well or whatever. You signed it for her, and then you're like, oh crap.
She was reading my copy in my bedroom, before I left, and then she put it on a stack of blanks.
Oh, yes.
Or she put it on my desk, and I put it on a stack of blanks because I just wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she got the book back. So.
That's right. I went back to the room, and Matt was already halfway through the book. He's like, "This book is great," and then he finished it that night, and that was
That's awesome.
So for anybody else who wants to pick up the book, Sunny Leads, Volume 1 is available where?
Well, it's available off our website, sunnyleads.com.
There you go.
And Amazon sold out, so we're waiting for them to reload it.
Great.
And so just go to sunnyleads.com, and it's a great segue you just brought forward, by the way.
We're getting good at these segues.
Holy cow.
Man, oh man.
Because a friend of mine, a couple friends have been, doing big events, and one of them said, listen, you're going to sell more books if more people know who you are.
Of course.
Because the content is good. If the content was bad, I would hide it. I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. I'm going to hide it. But the content is good. So that's not the problem and there's not a problem, but that's not the reason why the books haven't been flying off the shelf, like hundreds of thousands of copies, right? It's just that people don't know who I am because they don't know who I am.
Sure.
In Japan, they had the same thing. So they had me write for the JK Fan magazine, and they had me do a blog, had me do my blog in both English and Japanese. And I would get 1,000 to 2,000 hits a week. But the hits were like this karate president, this person of this karate club. So while it wasn't wide, it was really deep.
Sure.
So by the time I ended up going to when I would go to the Japan National Championships in my last 5 years, everyone was like, oh, Richard Sensei. Like it was hard to walk from the entrance to my seat because people would figure out who I was.
Sure.
And that was fine. But then when I left Japan, we haven't had the same... Or, basically, it's hard with a small publishing company to have a chance to go wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to challenge myself with a 365-day video challenge.
Oh, yes, that's right. You told me about this.
Yeah. So I'm going to pick a day soon and do a video every day to document some part of my life about what it's like to do karate as a full-time instructor.
That's a great idea.
And all the other karate things I'm involved with.
Sure.
Because I'm involved with a few.
And like you say, I think we say no week is the same, but really no day is the same.
Yeah, actually, there is no normal day is the normal day.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing that is normal. And I think I want to raise, I don't have famous things to say, but I have things that, especially how we're doing things in a really positive and fun way.
Sure.
It's really cool stuff we can share. And I have a rant. I have a manifesto that I've noted down and bubbling inside, and I've got to get it out.
I know.
I've got it. If I don't get it out, I'm going to explode. So the day I start the 365-day video challenge is the day that rant will start.
Fantastic.
Because it's gonna trigger all kinds of things.
Great.
Good things. But yeah, I think what I do is I'll raise my profile. I remember going to some events. Let's see, where did we go? We went to Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Washington, D.C., L.A., and we did all these talks about the book. And when I could share with people the layer behind the sightseeing, the karate training in the dojo where you don't understand what they're actually saying, and the karaoke afterwards, which is a lot of fun, and we'll get into it. But that next layer,
yes.
So when I can reveal what's happening behind that next layer, that's actually quite interesting. And so, 365-day video challenge. So it's going to be about documenting and not worrying about the creative quality, because I want to see what people say, because there's some things going on that I think we should share.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think the thing about running a karate club too is there is in the dirt, like got to wash the mats, clean the change rooms, you got to call schools, you got to make connections. But then if you actually believe what you do is an actual good thing, I love every second of that. Yeah. I love people turning me down, actually, because I don't get a chip on my shoulder. I love a couple things. I like when people say that I won't be able to do it. I like when people turn me down. I like when people second guess me, and I like when people underrate me.
Yes.
Because I think okay, I don't have a I'm going to show you thing. I have more no, I know my self-worth.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like who I am, because people bump up to me and they expect that I'll have the same lens of power, prestige, money. Like all that stuff doesn't matter, right? That stuff we're just going to get out there and just blast it.
For sure. Yeah.
So anyway, at any moment, I'm going to start the 365 challenge because I've got to get it out. I've got to talk, and I'm extremely in an amazing, good, self-aware moment right now. So
there we go. So be on the lookout for the start of the 365-day video challenge from Richard Mosdell.
That's right.
Be on lookout for the K-Fit conditioning.
Can't wait.
K-Fit from myself, and get yourself a copy of Sunny Leads. Well, this has been good.
Hi, Senseis, it's Face. I had a question. What has been your favorite tournament?
Your favorite tournament?
My favorite tournament. That's a really good question. Thanks, Faith. Good question. My favorite tournament's going to happen tomorrow. But anyway, let's start with you. What's your favorite tournament?
Well, I'm looking into the future.
Yes.
And my favorite tournament happened on June 2nd and 3rd of this year, and it was the Canada Open Championships in Richmond,
like
Olympico.
Us on the screen, like, come on, get serious. Tell us your favorite tournament.
My favorite tournament, I mean, it's probably the National Championships have always been my favorite tournament, just to get everybody together in the country and go for it. Locally in BC, I think the Steveston tournament has always been, actually, Steveston or the Saddle Cup have both been really good. It's hard to pick one in specific, but I think just the National Championship tournament would have to be my favorite.
Nationals?
Yeah.
So Faith, Nationals, that'll be in your future.
Yep.
My favorite tournament. Wow. That's a really good question because it depends on what the moment was.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like, Faith, when I was in Japan, I lost a lot of my first matches when I went to Japan. But then when I finally won a match, that was a pretty big moment where I felt like, hey, I actually belong here. I remember one of my favorite ones is I only came like fourth, but I remember it was in a Wadokai regional tournament and I beat the guy who won kata at the Wadokai Nationals the year before. So I was a non-Japanese guy beating the gold medalist in kata.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, this is really fantastic. So that was a really good moment. And I still have the medal somewhere, and there's a huge, heavy, it's like a bronze medal because you got a bronze for fourth. I've got it somewhere, but that was a really good moment because, like, in front of the Japanese referees, they gave me a shot.
Yeah.
I also remember at the Wadokai World Championships in 2008, I did Shinto. Okay, Faith, you haven't. I think you're going to learn Shinto the next, or maybe you're learning Shinto now. Oh no, she's learning Seishan, I think. I did Shinto, right? And this Japanese video company came up to me. Did I tell you the story?
I don't think so.
So I did Shinto, and they came up to me and said, Richardson, that was amazing. That Shinto textbook. Textbook. Like exactly that to that to that. We videotaped it. We want to put it into the video series.
Whoa.
I'm like, oh, man, thanks.
Crazy.
Are you serious? Like, yeah, textbook. Perfect. Excellent. I'm like, wow, great. Did you guys see my Seishan kata I did before that? Did you check that Seishan kata? And like, dead silence. Anyway, your Shinto was very good. Textbook, right? So that was a fun moment at a tournament.
That's hilarious.
I think the other one is just seeing, athletes do well.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of fun. So thanks a lot, Faith. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, and for you guys listening, whether you're listening on Facebook Live or whether you're listening to this on Monday morning when it comes out, we are going to start doing more of these Facebook Live videos. In fact, we might even do them every time we do them. And the way I think we've been talking about it is you can watch us on Facebook Live on Friday nights when we broadcast. You can watch it on there. Or after the broadcast is over, we're going to make it unavailable until Monday morning. Monday morning when the podcast comes out, when you can download the podcast on iTunes, Google Play, and all that kind of stuff. Then we will re-release the video.
Holy cow!
From the Facebook Live.
We're organized.
It'll also be on the YouTube. We're organized.
You're organized.
Well, our producer. We got our producer in the back here that's helping us out. So there we go. That's how that's going to work. But when the Facebook Live stuff's happening, guys, feel free to send us some questions. Send us questions throughout the week, and we're going to start implementing a Ask Us type segment in the show. So every week we'll answer you guys' questions, karate related or not, I guess. Whatever you want to ask us, you can ask us.
I think it's March 3rd.
Today is March 4th.
Tomorrow's March 4th.
Oh, tomorrow's March 4th. Wow. Screwed that one up.
So
But that's okay.
everyone's going to line in tomorrow.
Whoops. That's all right. Learning curve.
Yes.
We'll get there.
We'll put a 1 minute video on for tomorrow.
That's right. Anyways, guys, this is Karate 360 episode 25. We're a quarter now in 25.
Holy cow.
Just flying through these things. But we appreciate you guys listening, asking us your questions, telling us, when we see him when we're at the national championships, people saying, love your show.
I know, they
going.
came up and started talking to us.
People that I didn't even expect. Like, I have no idea who you are.
I
Or
listen
people.
to you every week.
Yeah. Oh, I love you guys' show. It's great. So the Karate 360 Nation is growing, and we appreciate everything that you guys do. Don't forget to keep an eye on us. Follow us on Facebook at Karate 360, on all our Twitter and social media, Karate 360.
We're
Snapchatting. Richard Mosdell, just spell us out. Richard Mosdell or Kalan Anglos. We're on the Snapchat train.
We're going whatever's new, whatever's happening.
That's right. So you can find us. It won't be hard. Just look us up. And remember, every Monday morning these episodes come out.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. And tune in next week for another episode of Karate 360. I'm one of your hosts, Kalan Anglos.
I'm Richard Mosdell.
And we'll talk to you guys next week. We're signing off.
San Rokumaru.
Bye.